From the PEP Radio Newsroom, these are the stories we are following at this hour. California Governor Gavin Newsom, a Democrat, told MSNBC that he plans to file suit Monday against the Trump administration to roll back the National Guard deployment, which he called an illegal act, an immoral act, and unconstitutional act. Trump has cited a legal provision that allows him to mobilize federal service members when there is a rebellion or danger of a rebellion against the authority of the government of the United States. Roughly 300 National Guard members arrived in the city over the weekend, and Trump said he has authorized 2,000 members to deploy if needed. Latinas for Trump founder says she's disappointed by recent escalation of immigrant arrests. I have always supported Trump through thick and thin. However, this is unacceptable and inhumane, said Ileana Garcia, a Florida state senator who in 2016 founded the group Latinas for Trump and was hired to direct Latino outreach. She posted the message on X over the weekend. I understand the importance of deporting criminal aliens, but what we are witnessing are arbitrary measures to hunt down people who are complying with their immigration hearings, in many cases with credible fear of persecution claims, all driven by a Miller-like desire to satisfy a self-fabricated deportation goal. Garcia was referring to Stephen Miller, a key architect of Trump's immigration crackdown. Garcia also said, this is not what we voted for. However, Trump promised voters he would conduct the largest domestic deportation operation in American history to expel millions of immigrants in the country illegally. Got news for you, Ileana. You got what you voted for. You most certainly did. In other news, ABC News has suspended correspondent Terry Moran for calling the Trump administration Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller a world-class hater in a since-deleted social media post. Moran's post was swiftly condemned by officials in the Republican administration, including Vice President J.D. Vance. ABC News in a statement said it stands for objectivity and impartiality in its news coverage and does not condone subjective personal attacks on others. The New York-based network said Moran was suspended pending further evaluation of what exactly the truth. Moran, who interviewed President Donald Trump a few weeks ago, said in his post on X at 12:06 a.m. on Sunday that the president was a world-class hater, too. But he wrote that for the president, his hatred is a means to an end, and that end is his own glorification. For Miller, Moran's post said his hatreds are his spiritual nourishment. He eats his hate. And finally, in his confirmation hearings to lead the National Institutes of Health, Jay Bhattacharya pledged his openness to views that might conflict with his own. Dissent, he said, is the very essence of science. That commitment is being put to the test. On Monday, scores of scientists at the agency sent their Trump-appointed leader a letter titled the Bethesda Declaration, challenging policies that undermine the National Institutes of Health mission, waste public resources, and harm the health of Americans and people across the globe. It says, we dissent. In a capital where insiders often insist on anonymity to say such things publicly, 92 NIH researchers, program directors, branch chiefs, and scientific review officers put their signatures on the letter and their careers on the line. Another 250 of their colleagues across the agency endorsed the declaration without using their names. The 4-page letter addressed to Bhattacharya was also sent to Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and members of Congress who oversee the NIH. That's the news at this hour. If you are 18 or older, live in Pennsylvania, and are part of the LGBTQ+ community, please visit paequality.com to complete the 2025 housing survey. Up next, we have the Meadville area weather forecast here on PEP Radio.